Did you know Playwright does not use WebDriver? If you are coming from Selenium, that probably sounds strange because in Selenium, everything revolves around WebDriver. So, if Playwright does not use WebDriver, how does it control the browser? And what actually replaces WebDriver? In this video, we will see the difference in the simplest way possible. So, let's get started. In Selenium, WebDriver controls everything from launching the browser to creating the session, sending commands to the browser, controlling tabs, and handling navigation. So when we write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, we are creating an instance of Chrome driver to connect to the browser for automation and use that instance to navigate pages, find elements, and interact with the browser. So basically, WebDriver is our connection to the browser. Everything goes through it. Now here is the interesting part. Playwright does not use this model. In Playwright, there is no WebDriver API. Instead, Playwright splits responsibility into three layers: browser, context, and page. So the browser fixture represents the actual browser process, like Chrome or Firefox running. It is responsible for managing the browser processes. A context is like an isolated session within a browser instance. So we have browser, inside it we have browser context. It behaves like a separate browser profile with its own cookies, storage, and session data. Multiple contexts can run independently within the same browser instance. So we can think of it like an incognito window having separate cookies, separate local storage, and everything. Now let's come to page. Now this is the most important one. Page represents a single tab within a browser context. This is where test interactions are performed, like clicks, navigation, assertions, etc. And this is where we write commands like page.goto, page.click. So at a test writing level, page feels similar to the WebDriver. But architecturally, we can say that WebDriver is browser, context, and page combined. So in Selenium, WebDriver does everything, but in Playwright, those responsibilities are split across three layers. Browser handles the process, context handles the session, and page handles the interaction. So there is a cleaner separation and better isolation. Now, don't worry, you don't have to start from scratch. Everything you know from Selenium has a direct equivalent in Playwright. The syntax changes, the logic does not. Let me show you how exactly they map to each other. So in Selenium, we write new Chrome driver that creates the driver and launches Chrome in one setup. But in Playwright, that one step becomes two. First, chromium.launch launches the browser, and then browser.newContext creates an isolated session inside it. Playwright separates these responsibilities on purpose. In Selenium, the driver object is everything: navigation, clicking, finding elements, all through driver. But in Playwright, that role belongs to page. The page object is your main interaction point, just like driver was in Selenium. Now driver.get in Selenium opens a URL. In Playwright, page.goto does the exactly same thing. So different name, same job. Now to find the elements, we use driver.findElement in Selenium. In Playwright, we use page.locator. But Playwright locators are smarter, more stable, and easier to write. We will cover that in a separate video. Finally, driver.quit in Selenium closes the browser and ends the session. On the other hand, in Playwright, browser.close does the same. So the big takeaway here is Selenium puts everything into one object, the driver. Playwright spreads it across three: browser, context, and page. Same goals, but cleaner structure. So why doesn't Playwright use WebDriver at all? Let's look at the difference right here. In Selenium, your test goes through WebDriver, then Chrome driver, and then finally reaches the browser. There's three steps to talk to the browser. More steps means more chances for things to break. Playwright cuts all of that. Your test talks directly to the Playwright API and straight to the browser. Clean, direct, no unnecessary layer in between. And that's what gives Playwright four big advantages. First, direct browser communication. No driver to install, no HTTP bridge, just your test and the browser. Second, faster execution. Less overhead means your test runs quicker, no translation layer slowing things down. Third, better isolation. Each browser context is fully sandboxed. No cookies, no storage, no session data leaking between tests. And fourth, cleaner design. The Playwright API is modern and minimal, less boilerplate, less setup, more focus on actually writing your tests. This is exactly why Playwright didn't just improve WebDriver, it replaced the entire approach. If this clicked for you, like the video and subscribe the channel. In the next video, we'll be looking at Playwright locators versus Selenium locators. See you there.